Good day, students. On this clip, we're going to go over how to use the unit circle to find the value of the six trigonometric ratios. So, write down the title of this lesson. So, a review on using the unit circle. The unit circle. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and consider the following example. Example number one. Example one, use the unit circle. Use the unit circle to find the exact value and and approximate exact and approximate values of all six trig functions, of all six trig ratios. Okay. All right. Let's say we had 150 degrees counterclockwise. So 150 degrees, clockwise, sorry. 150 degrees clockwise. So what does let's go ahead and do this. What does clockwise mean? Clockwise means you're going in the direction of the clock. So this is our coordinate system, and we go clockwise. We're going to be going down and around like this. Okay, so since we're going down, that's negative. All right, so 150 degrees clockwise is simply negative 150 degrees. All right, so the next task is to look for negative 150 degrees on our unit circle. All right, so bring out your unit circles. If I look at this, I can see that there is no negative right here, right? So let me go to this unit circle right here. There is no negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for positive 150 degrees. So this is positive 150 degrees. So negative 150 degrees is what you get when you reflect up or down. Since we're above water, on top of the x-axis, we're going to go straight down to the bottom, right there. So this right here, 210, is actually the same thing as negative 150 degrees, okay? So let's copy down this coordinate. That is the coordinate that I want. All right, let me redo that. The coordinate I want, forget about the 7, 5, or 6, is this one right here, negative root 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. All right, so let's go ahead and write that down. It's going to be in quadrant 3, negative root 3 over 2 and negative 1/2. All right, so now we're going to use the ratios on the formula sheet that I gave you to find out the values. Okay, so let's label these x and y because that's what's going to guide our substitution. So sine negative 150 is simply the y coordinate, right? So it's going to be negative 1/2. Cosine of negative 150 is simply the x coordinate. So that's going to be negative root 3 over 2. Tan of negative 150 is y over x. Okay, this one's a little bit more technical. So y over x is going to be negative 1/2 divided by negative root 3 over 2. Okay, so in this problem, do we need to DCF here? Do we have a fraction in the denominator? We have a fraction in the denominator, so we need to drop, change, flip, or multiply the reciprocal, okay? So in this case, we'll drop the top, negative 1/2, change the divide twist times, and reciprocate the denominator into negative 2 over root 3. Okay? Now the 2's cancel out, and then you're going to have minus times minus is plus 1 over root 3. And then to simplify this, because you may not have a square root as a denominator, so we have to rationalize the denominator. So root 3 top and bottom, and then your final answer is going to be root 3 over root 9, which reduces into root 3 over 3. All right, so there goes your tan. All right, let's go ahead and do the reciprocal trig functions. Cosecant. Cosecant is what you get when you reciprocate sine. So cosecant negative 150 is going to be 1 over y. So that's going to be 1 over negative 1/2. Since we have a fraction in the denominator, we have to DCF this problem. So drop the 1, flip the bottom to negative 2 over 1, and then write this as 1 over 1. If you multiply it out, you have negative 2 as your final answer. Secant. Secant negative 150 is a reciprocal of cosine. So this one is going to be 1 over x. So that's going to yield 1 over negative root 3 over 2. Now, we have a fraction on the bottom, so we have to DCF this one also. So you drop the top times the reciprocal of the bottom, which is going to be 2 over root 3 negative. Now, since this is a fraction, let's make this a fraction too. Multiply across. That's going to give us negative 2 over root 3, like that. Since you cannot have a square root as a denominator, you times it by root 3, top and bottom. So that gives us negative 2 root 3 over root 9, which is negative 2 root 3 over 3. All right? Last but not the list is cotangent negative 150. Let me partition my workspace here so we do not get confused. So split it apart. Cotangent negative 150. If you look at your ratios, is x over y, right? So it's going to be, it's going to be x over y. So let's take our coordinate values and substitute it here. X is negative root 3 over 2, negative root 3 over 2, divided by y, which is negative 1/2. So that's what we're going to do. All right? Do we DCF in this scenario? Absolutely, because we have a fractional denominator, right? So with that in mind, we're going to drop the top, negative root 3 over 2, change it to times, and then flip the bottom into negative 2 over 1. The 2's and the 2's cancel out. 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 1. Minus times minus is a plus, so your final answer is going to be negative root 3. Okay? All right, now you're going to state the exact and approximate values. So for sine negative 150, it's equal to negative 1/2. What is negative 1/2 as a fraction? We need to turn our calculators on. You guys know what that is, right? Negative 1/2 is just negative 0.5. So if you don't know, you just do negative 1 divided by 2. Final answer, negative 0.5. So this is equal to negative 0.5. All right, and then cosine. Cosine negative 150. We got negative root 3 over 2. What is the approximate value? Because this has a square root, this is not going to be exact. It's going to be an approximate value because all square roots of odd numbers are irrational. So negative square root of 3. Make sure you close that parenthesis, please. Divided by 2. And your answer is negative 8660. So it's approximately negative 0.8660. Tan negative 150 is root 3 over 3. Since this has a square root, it's going to be an approximation again. Root 3 over 3. That's 0.5774. Okay, so it's approximately 0.5774. All right, so there goes your first 3. Now let's do the other 3, the reciprocals. Cosecant. Cosecant negative 150. We got, what did we get? We got negative 2. What is negative 2 in decimal form? It doesn't, it's a whole number, right? So we don't need to bother. So this one is done. All right, secant. Secant negative 150 is negative 2 root 3 over 3. So this one, since it has a square root here, the decimal form is going to be an approximation, okay? So let's put it in our calculators and see what we get. We're going to go negative 2 square root of 3. Close that, please. Divided by 3. Negative 1.154. Negative 1.154. So this is going to be negative 1.154. Uh-oh, I think I messed up. Let me check again. 1.1, 1.1547. Four decimal places, 1547. Yeah. And last but not the least is cotangent negative 150, which is root 3. That one's going to be an approximation again because we have a square root. So what is the square root of 3? Square root of 3 is 1.7321. 1.7321. Write that down, 1.7321. All right, so these are our answers, okay? Now, you're going to use your calculators to verify that these answers are correct, okay? So, this is our manual. We're going to call them manual results. This is manual, okay? And then let's do the calculator results. Calculator, okay? Calculator results has to match, or else we're wrong. We're going to do sine negative 150. Cosine negative 150. All of them using our calculators. Tan negative 150. Let's do those first. Let's do those three first and make it smaller. Put this to the side. Stay over there. Okay. So, sine negative 1. Wait a minute. First of all, you have to make sure that your calculator is in degrees. So, what you do is you press mode and then bring it down to radian and to the right to degree. Okay? If it's not in degree, you can't do this. So it has to be in degree first. Okay? So now we're going to do sine negative 150. Enter. Negative 0.5. So our calculator says is negative 0.5. So that tells me that my first answer is correct. All right, cosine. Cosine negative 150. Enter. Negative 8660. So my calculator tells me it's approximately negative 0.8660. So that means my second answer is correct. Tan. Tan is going to be tan of negative 150. So it's going to 0.5774. So this one is going to be approximately 0.5774. That tells me that my next answer is correct. Okay? Now let's do the cosecant. So cosecant negative 150 is simply going to be 1 over this answer right here. So 1 over negative 0.5. So just reciprocate this answer, okay? So you're going to do 1 divided by negative 0.5. Answer is negative 2. So this one is exactly negative 2. So that means our other answer is correct. All right, how do we get secant negative 150 degrees? Secant negative 150 degrees. 1 over your cosine will give you that answer. So 1 over the answer we got here, which is negative 0.8660. It's going to be an approximation since this is an approximation. So we're going to have 1 divided by 0.8660. Enter. 1.1547. So my calculator says it's negative 1.1547, which tells me that my next answer is correct. And last but not the least is cotangent. Cotangent negative 150 is going to be 1 over this answer right here, 1 over 0.5774. So we're going to do 1 divided by 0.5774. and it's 1.73, 1.73, it's close though. So 1 point, approximately, let's write that in black, is approximately 1.732. Okay, so that's good enough. All right, so what we've basically done is we've used the calculator to show that our answers are correct. Okay, so for the classwork, I'm going to expect you to do you're going to do the manual results, and then you're going to verify your answer with the calculator to make sure that everything is accurate. Okay, so thanks for paying attention to this presentation. I'm going to have you try out some examples.